there a
And
little bit.
it was 150 pounds, right?
It was, yeah. So I had a front shoulder, a quarter section of ribs. I had a full half back strap, a bunch of neck meat, and some other trimming meat on my backpack with my gear, with my rifle, and the head and rack on my back. So that's what came behind me and drilled my head into the ground. Um, as I'm also 280 pounds head first, that weight, with my head crushing a stump. Luckily, a stump. If it was a rock, I wouldn't be having this conversation today. And
Wow.
so that all happened. I climbed up, hid the meat, and we finished packing out that night. We got back to camp at about 6:30 or 7 the next morning, and we were feeling pretty rough. But when I woke up the next day, I was like, you know what? I'm lucid enough. I need to go back up and get the remainder of that elk meat before a bear pushes in on it. And on our way out, we had bumped a bear off the track. We didn't know grizz, black bear, what. We just saw eyes, heard some huffing, and it took off. So I was heading back up the next day. And as I'm pushing in, I started finding some like roughed up, as I'm getting close to the pin on my GPS, it's thick brush. Everything looks different during the day. So I'm really relying on my GPS. And I'm getting closer and closer. And all of a sudden I hear some crunching, some crashing in the trees next to me. I'm like, oof, this is not good. Not good. And then I look down, there's some fresh bear scat, like fresh, like hasn't changed colors or anything. I'm like, this is definitely not good. But in my mind, I'm like, you know what, Joe, think positive. It's going to be a black bear. You have a bear tag, just pop it. If it comes out, that's fine. So take my rifle off my shoulder and I keep closing in. And all of a sudden I hear this chomping and huffing and I can see the trees moving and it comes in less than 20 yards, but stops and it chomps at me for a bit and then goes away. So I'm like, all right. And I start yelling at it, throw some sticks its way. This is early in my experience with the show as well. So I'm a little, I guess I didn't have kids at home, so I was a little riskier. I'll put it that way. Less risk, and or less concerned about risk. So then I push
Sure.
in further, and this bear ends up bluff charging me again. Luckily, one point it bluff charged to 8 yards. I could see the fur and everything, and I ranged where it was at. Bluff charged to 8 yards. Never could see the full bear. And finally, I decided, you know what, I'm going to turn around and get out of here. It was chomping pretty aggressively, and I backed out. And when I went down to the base of the mountain, I looked back up, and it was in next to an avalanche chute, and there was a like very dominant looking grizz stomping back and forth. So this grizz had clearly gone in and claimed my kill, or what was left of the meat I put up the tree. That was probably the closest on two different levels where I came to having a really bad day.